Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. There is no turning back now. And today we're going to take a look at this fantastic piece that has been created and released by Pegasus Models back in the early 2000s. And some of you might recognize the creature. I can't blame any who can't. It actually happened a few times that while I was sealing the creature with the acrylic seal, my neighbor actually didn't know what this creature was from, and wherever I, shown the painting process to my friends, some of them actually did not know the creature. So this creature is the Kothoga, from, in my humble opinion, a very underrated horror film by Peter Hyams called The Relic. The Hungarian title of the film was Monster in the Museum, which basically has given away one of the biggest plot lines in the film. It's a very straightforward film, and indeed that's what it is. It's a monster in the museum. I think it's a pretty good film, and I highly recommend to anyone who hasn't seen it yet. But one of the reasons why the film is very important to me, because as some of you may know, of course the creature has been created for the film by legendary Stan Winston Studio. And this was always one of my favorite creature designs of all time. As far as I know, within the studio, the creation of the creature was headed up by Dave Grasso, and maybe John Rosengrant as well. He was also supervising it. I'm not so sure. Actually, when I shared the process images on my Instagram, some folk who was kind enough, who also worked on the film, for example, Brian Moore, and some others, commented on the post, and they were telling me that it looks great so far, and they were sharing stories of the creature and the creation of it. This was quite a challenge and a giant undertaking for the studio, even after the dinosaurs of Jurassic Park, because the designer Crash McCreary, who was the in-house designer at Stan Winston Studio at the time, wanted to create a very unusual silhouette and a four-legged creature. However, they had a very tight deadline on the production. If I remember correctly, it was around like 4 or 5 months, which is a very short time period for a giant creature like this. And they couldn't create the creature as a puppet or an animatronic character. They had to go with a guy in the suit approach, which was very, very difficult. However, let me go back a little bit to the history of this particular piece. As I mentioned before, this was produced and released back in the day, in the early 2000s, by Pegasus Models. And God, I always wanted one. I mean, my dream was, especially in the early 2000s, that maybe a toy company or a high-end collectibles company will release a Kothoga statue or a Kothoga action figure, and I was always looking forward to that, maybe hoping that McFarlane Toys in their Movie Maniacs line maybe will release something, but unfortunately it never happened. So this model was out there. There were two versions. One of them, that what I purchased recently, is the one that you had to assemble and paint yourself. And then there was another version that has been already painted and assembled for you. I were considering purchasing the one at the beginning that has been already assembled and painted, but I'd never been satisfied with the paint application on it, and I kind of just wanted to do my own version, and within the confines of the original character. So I tried to replicate the paint job as authentically as I possibly could. This was a very challenging piece to paint for me, because the piece is not big. It's around 37 centimeters in length, so I would say, just to imagine, for anyone who doesn't have the kit, it's around as big, maybe a little bit bigger than a non-mu or a W Dragon dinosaur. If memory serves me right, but that's probably gonna be on the box that I'm going to insert the photo of here, the size is 1/12 scale. That is definitely provided its challenges, because you had to go really tight and tiny. I like using the airbrush as much as I can. There were a lot of places where it was incredibly difficult to reach, and unfortunately I made the mistake that I fully assembled and glued the mouth in without painting. That was a giant mistake, and I will never do it again, but I managed to paint all the details, and because of the size and the tightness of the job and what I had to create here, I gotta say I'm very proud of the modeling and stuff that I could actually achieve on the nails and in the mouth. I actually managed, hopefully there is gonna be a shot here somewhere, even in the mouth, on the teeth. There's so much detail in this creature. On the reference material I could find on the internet, which by the way is very hard. In the film you barely can see anything of this. The film itself is very dark, as most Peter Hyams films. He just, I don't know why, he just underlits his films, and you barely see anything of the creature. Now, I gotta say, it probably works very well in the film, because you don't really want to see the creature. It's like the alien, basically. But all the work that went into the creation of this absolutely fantastic character, and you barely see anything on screen of it. But anyway, here in this video you guys can see some design details, the beautiful raptor claws, and I try to put an emphasis on separating the textures from the skin, from the claws, and these bony protrusions of the back. I really wanted to have a different texture, a little bit more shinier, to create this predatory look, obviously following the reference material to replicate the look of the creature as close as possible. And once again, guys, I just would like to say that it was an absolute pleasure to paint this. You can see here I'm a little bit playing with the aperture of my camera, because it shows up a little bit different on camera than in real life. It's a little bit more saturated, quite weirdly. Anyway, it was a super opportunity to paint this kit, and I'm absolutely loving it. I would love to have a bigger kit and paint one as well. I would really paint the living crap out of that one. I already purchased another one, because actually a client asked me to paint one up for him as well. This character, this creature, and this film, I think has a legacy, and certainly you know, you gotta remain objective. The CGI in the film does not age well. Unfortunately, that's a little bit anticlimactic, especially on the end. Don't wanna ruin it for anyone, but the Stan Winston creature really shines in the film. The direction is very strong, and there is a finely selected, excellent selection of character actors in the film, Tom Sizemore, Penelope Ann Miller, and etc. Highly recommend the film, and thank you so very much for looking and watching at this little showcase, and I guess I definitely will see you on the next one.